Hi everyone, it's been a while since I've updated my YouTube channel, like maybe a year, hopefully not so long. But I got the Sweet Magnolia series for my birthday, so I read all 10 of the books in about 2 weeks. Yes, I really wanted to get through them, so I'm just gonna kind of give a short little review of each of the books, starting with the first one, which first there are 10 books in this series. The first one, book one, and from you see the picture, you know that this story, if you watch the series, that is, this story is Maddie and Cal's story. This is one of my favorites of the book series. So far, based on the series, it's pretty on par. What we didn't see though is like the drama that they added for the series, which is pretty typical. So you don't see anything about the violent streak that Carl had. You don't see any of that. It's just literally a seamless, no kind of issues story in the book. So the love story is pretty typical, but it grabs you and it holds your attention. I think the writing is pretty good in this one, and I thoroughly enjoyed this one. This one was the easiest one for me to read. The second one, number two, is Dana Sue's story. Now, in the book, Dana Sue's story is pretty similar to what we've seen in the series so far. The only difference I would see is in terms of Annie's side of the story, which I'll get into Annie's book. It's very different. You know, in the series, Annie, you know, a typical type of teenager, can't get along with her mother, no real reason she hates Serenity and all of that. But in the book, it's a little bit deeper than that, and it's Annie's issues that leads her father coming back home, which leads to the whole parents getting back together. They did get divorced. I know in the series it didn't show them actually going through with the divorce before he left, but in the book they do get divorced, but they do remarry as well, as we see in the series as well. So the series is pretty on par with the book. It's not that far off from what I've seen so far, but we'll see how it progresses. Book three is Helen's story. Now Helen's story is different, a bit different than what we've seen in the series so far. In the book we don't see any reference to any old boyfriends. You know, any boyfriends resurfacing like we do in the series. She and Eric do get married in this book, but it's not typical. I don't want to give too much away, but she ends up getting pregnant. Well, she traps Eric into getting her pregnant because Eric didn't want children based on his past of losing his child and wife through labor complications. So he didn't want children. Ellen wanted a child, as you know. In the series, it's pretty similar. She really craves having a child. So she kind of traps him. They started a sexual relationship. She traps him. And of course, he does the right thing and marries her. So that's how their thing started off. But, you know, they love each other. And, yeah. I like this book because this one, to me, out of all of them, is the one that isn't the most typical love story. Then you have book number four, and book number four is a character that is not in the series, at least not yet. Her name is Jeanette, and she's basically she oversees the corner spa alongside with Maddie. So she ends up becoming a Sweet Magnolia as well. You know, in the series it's just 3 of them, but throughout the book, each book they add another lady to the group. So Jeanette, she's kind of new to town type of thing. She's very independent. She has like a bad record with men, you know, kind of men not being serious about her. But then she meets Tom, who is the new manager, town manager, and they kick it off. he is more interested at first. He's from a rich background, kind of like, you know, born rich but doesn't want to be affiliated with his parents, want to make his own, and they fall in love. This one, yeah, pretty straightforward. Most of them are pretty straightforward. If you're looking for a series that's all about love and do with a little bit of like conflicts here and there, nothing too deep, then this series is really for you. It's really about women coming together, going through their struggles, and in the end they find love and happiness in their own way. The next one is Annie's story. So it's about Annie and Ty. In the series, we know that we are seeing the slow burn with Annie and Ty. In the book, I love the story of the book because it's very different from what we see in the series so far. I'm not sure if I don't see how they're gonna come back to it being on par with the book. In the series, Ty and Annie get together while they're young. He goes off to play baseball. He becomes a baseball star. He cheats on Annie while he's on the road, you know, with groupies. He gets one of the groupies pregnant. He ends up having a son. Annie during this time becomes a therapist and she stays in Serenity. Ty gets injured and he comes back to town to get treatment and all of that, and he basically tries to win Annie over. He does, and he ends up getting married to Ty and takes care of his child with him, and they end up having a child of their own. This one is a bit I say a bit complicated. Back to the dinosaur story, we see where in that story Annie has a eating disorder. We don't see that in the series. Maybe it's a bit too touchy for them to jump into, but yeah, she does have a eating disorder, and that plays out through all the books where they kind of go back to reference it, how everybody in the community, they kind of miss the signs and things like that. So it's kind of it connects all of the stories together. But actually liked this story because I tend to not like the typical love stories. I like a little bit of drama and conflicts. I wish that I hope that they do stick as closely as possible to the book for Annie and Ty's story. It's really, really good. But then again, maybe the watchers won't really love that. Maybe they don't want to see Ty in that light. We'll see. The next story, which is book number 6, is about Sarah Price, a single mother. She and these are like the younger Magnolias. This is one of Annie's best friends growing up. So you have Annie, you have Sarah, and then you have Raylene, which will be the next story. Yeah, one of the other stories. So book number 6 is Sarah's story. She goes off, get married young, has kids. Her husband mistreats her, makes her feel as if she's not good enough. She leaves him, returns to Serenity, starts working out, gets herself together, meets this amazing guy, Travis, who is hot, and they hit it off and they get together. He takes care of her kids, yada yada. They sail off into the sunset basically. But this one isn't bad. I like this one. I liked Sarah. I liked her character a lot. And then you have book number 7, which is Raylene's story. Now Raylene is the 3rd member of the young Magnolias. She was in an abusive marriage. She is the type of debutante, you know, richy goody two shoe type of life. At least that's what she wanted people to believe. And she was married to a doctor who was abusive to her. She left, came back to Serenity, you know, kind of start a new life with the help of her friends Sarah and Annie. And then I liked her story because we see where she progresses. We see where it's not overnight that she gets better. We have to kind of trust the process type of thing. She ends up meeting a policeman who takes his time to get to know her and love her correctly. and you know, sail off into the sunset again, I guess. But yeah, this one is okay. It's a little bit mm, kind of mellow, but it does what it needs to do. And then we have book number, what's up these ones? We have book number 8, which is Elliot. Now Elliot is the hot um, trainer at the corner spa, which all the women love him off, but he ends up falling for a single mother of 2 kids. This is my least favorite story. I just couldn't really get into it. I struggled to finish this one, to be honest. It's not that the characters, well, Elliot is great. I did not like Karen. She was a bit boring to me and just hard to get into, hard to like. So this one, definitely my least favorite of the series. Then we have book number 9, which is the story of Laura Reed and JC Fullerton. Now JC works with Bill, who is Maddie's ex-husband, as you know from the series. So he's a pediatrician, and he falls for a school teacher, Laura Reed. He has always been the type where he doesn't want to date, he doesn't want to get to know anyone because he had a bad marriage. But somehow she in this one, is kind of like she takes the lead here. She's the one who first had interest. She kind of presents herself around him. They come together to help a student, because she's a teacher, get through bullying, and that kind of draws them together because JC's younger brother committed suicide after being bullied in school. So he had a lot of interest in that story, and that's how their love story kind of developed. This one isn't bad. I like JC, Dara too as well. You know, they knew what they wanted from the start. It wasn't not going around the corners. They both wanted each other, and they made it happen. I kind of like that. I dig that. And then the final book in the series is Single Mom Lynn Morrow. So it's a single mom, single dad scenario. Difference is Mitch, his wife died in a car accident, leaving him with 2 sons to raise on his own. Lynn now, she goes through a divorce with 2 kids as well. So it's 2 single parents coming together to form a union, and it works. Issues would come into play in terms of Lynn trusting men again after going through what she went through with her husband. This brings you into a bit of a lot of drama, but not bad drama. I wouldn't say it's the most memorable story, but you know, I think it was a nice inclusion of single parents coming together, because in most of the other books where we see it's a single mother and a man accepting a single mother, in this case it's both of them coming together. So yeah, that's it for the series. Overall, I think the author is pretty good. She keeps it simple. She doesn't overcomplicate anything. So you're a type of person who likes writing where it's pretty straightforward. It's not too much for you. This would be the perfect series for you. If you are currently watching the series, which I know the new season comes out in a 2 weeks time, it would be great for you to read the book as well, because I started the series and I fell in love. So I decided that I wanted to get the books and see how they kind of match up. But yeah, to me it's a great read. Let me just show you them again. 10 books. I don't know if it comes in audio or Kindle. I love paperbacks, so yeah. They're pretty easy to get through. As I told you, I went through them in 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks, yeah, about 2 weeks. I basically read a book a day. Yeah. So like, follow, share, subscribe, and if you guys want to see me do more book reviews, you can leave a comment below which book you want me to read. I do have a 2025 book list that I will put in the description. if you guys want to support, or you guys have any recommendations, or if you've read the books on my book list, you can let me know what you think about them before I dive into them. So yeah, that's it for me, and stay tuned for more. Bye.